All right, so earlier I took that other Michigan loader into the scrapyard, and that's when I had stopped by that outfit to get a cable or whatever. And anyways, after I left the cable place, I was over at the gas station getting some fuel, and talking to my buddy, and I was standing on the other side of the truck on the driver's side, and looked over, and this entire wheel was covered in oil. I thought maybe I had a wheel seal gone, but yeah, a little bit worse than a wheel seal. And so somehow I assume the caliper, the bottom caliper, is leaking. I'm not sure why it's leaking, because it never, like, it's still on the pad. You can see that one is still on the pad. So the bottom one would be actually more on the pad, because that bolt isn't. I mean, you can see right there that it's more on the pad. So I don't know why it's leaking, but it's leaking. So I've got another one on the way. So I've got to replace that. I'm glad I seen it when I did, because like I had like maybe like an eighth of an inch of fluid in the bottom of the reservoir when I checked it. So that's a little bit scary, mildly. So while I'm doing that, I have a oil leak on my air compressor, air pump. So I believe it's coming out of that back where that oil inlet goes. It's like a plate there. So I'm going to take that off while I'm working on it here. I've got to wait till like 4 o'clock before my caliper is at the auto parts store in town. So yeah, all that spray is just from me backing around here to get on this pad. That thing is yonk. Look at that rub mark. It isn't hardly deep at all. I mean, you can't even, it's just like paint deep. So no big deal there. No big deal there. It just happened. So good thing the pad's still there and everything, so we're still good there. But for some reason that caliper's junk. Look at how it wore that. Jeez. It's crazy, this wore down more than that wheel did. But this is cast, and that is steel, so interesting. That freaking bolt does not want to come out. It is stuck like Chuck. Alright, so the rebuilders, in all their infinite wisdom, these new sliders are metric. The old ones are standard. And I have replaced these calipers before, but I always kept the top one because you can't get it out. And I always just cleaned it up, and it always works. But for whatever reason, that's the bolt that came out. I don't know if I forgot to put Loctite on this one or what exactly the deal is. But this bracket, you have to take this whole entire hub assembly off in order to get to that. And then you have to unbolt this from the back to get it to come out. Basically, I take the axle out here, and then the nut in here, take this whole assembly off, and then after I take the whole assembly off, these bolts here are holding this on. So I have to take some of these bolts off or something to get this, to pull this out in order to get this stupid thing out of there. Kind of retarded that they done it like that to me, but whatever. So here I go, I guess. Alright, so I don't have the correct nut for that, or bolt socket. This one is for Dream 1. I bought this one for Dream 1, and it's too big. It fits in there, but it's way too big. I don't know if it would take it off. I might try it just for shits and giggles, but you can see it's been taken off with a chisel. I don't know that I've ever had these off. I think I have because I changed the rotors, so I would figure I had one of these, but I have no idea where it would be. Alright, I'm in there. It's really not that hard of a job. That socket did take that off. Looks like that's been warm. It has plenty of heat, plenty of grease in there, so I don't know. The bearing don't seem bad. I don't know. whatever. So now I have to take maybe all of these bolts out. I think all these bolts. So this whole bracket is one thing. I have to take all these stupid bolts out to get this damn one little stupid pin out of here. Alright, I got it all off. So now I got the slider out of there. So I'm going to clean it up and put a new one in. Alright, that's all back on. I'm going to take my wire wheel and clean all this up. Get everything clean nice. I'm going to stuff this full of some towels so I don't get crap in there. Alright, so something that don't make sense to me is when you buy these new calipers, they have this rubber on one of them. One of them, it doesn't. It's just solid, like this one. And one of them has this rubber. And I don't understand that. That rubber, you put that thing in there, if you can get it in there, push hard enough. I mean, it freaking, I mean, I'm pushing pretty damn hard. Look how it bubbles up there. Like, that doesn't, I got it in there, and then I had to beat it out. I mean, these things are supposed to slide. That doesn't, I don't understand why they put that rubber on there. I've never put these in there. That's why I've got so many of them, because I always leave them out. I don't understand that. And then if you take it off, see, this one is not wobbly, but if you take it off, it's wobbly in there. So I don't really understand. I think I'm going to try to find a bolt for this one. Alright, I got this thing all rethreaded. I had kind of screwed it up. It wasn't because, like, where the bolt came out of it or whatever. It's my retardation. So, and I found a bolt for it. A little bit different than the OEM bolt. A little bit just different head, but it's still good. It's a 10.9 grade, so it's an OEM bolt for something. So, international. So, whatever. Doesn't matter. So, it's good to go now. Just got to put it all together. I got my boot right here. So, alright, it's all back together. I've got a bajillion and a half million tools out here. It's retarded. Literally, all this should have took was one socket for this and one socket for this. But no, they got to have this retardation. And then this brake line, if you see how tight it's pulled, that's because they don't make the brake line for these back here. And this is all I could find to work. And it's like almost too tight. It's too tight. But it's all I could find. I want to get stainless ones for it. I went to a hydraulic shop that I go to a lot and had them make me some lines. I said they have to be good for brake fluid. Yeah, because brake fluid is very, very, very corrosive. I mean, the paint on that wheel that was on the inside of here, it's already like peeling off. And this hadn't been like that very long. And, I mean, that stuff is extremely corrosive. And after I left, I was just really worried. So I called Parker, and I finally got somebody on the phone that could look it up, and they said, no, that hose is not rated for brake line. I'm telling you what, I don't care what anybody tells you. If they say, oh yeah, it'll work, it'll work, it will not. Unless it specifically says that it will handle brake fluid, do not use it. I don't care what the situation is. So they were good about it. They took them back. You know, usually when they cut a hose, it's yours. But I told him, I says, look, man, I told you this is what I wanted, and Parker, the inventors of this hose, is telling me that it won't handle it. So they said, all right. And of course, I'm a good customer there. I go there. I guess I'm good. I don't know. I go there a lot. So they took it back, and they honored it. So, I mean, because I was specific. I was like, dude, seriously, like, this has got to work, But anyways, so one day I'll get some stainless. They didn't have the fittings for the stainless on hand that day, and that's why I didn't come home with stainless, because stainless will handle it. But anyways, I got to get new lines for it, which if I'm going to do air brakes, then who really cares? Doesn't matter at that point. So anyways, I'm going to get these wheels back on here and see if I can get something more profitable done. I guess this is profitable, because if I don't do it, it's going to be a financial disaster. So, I guess.